Hey folks, welcome back. I think this is probably going to be the first video, hopefully. I've shot like 20 so far. But I figured I would kind of introduce you to the project I'm working on, just like me, start making videos in the middle of a project. So just so you have a knowledge of what's going on when you see these videos of me painting stuff or something, you know what I'm dealing with. And so my current project is a Dell Precision Tower that I picked up, 5 years ago. I think I may have even made a video on buying it. I got it off eBay, no hardware, just the case. And it was a proprietary interior, all this other jazz. And the name, because it's a Dell. What the Dell? Sorry, I can't resist the puns. But the theme of this case is basically what I'm calling an anti-retro case. And we've all seen them, you know, the retro sleepers where it looks like the 2000 compact Presario with the window sticker on the front that has, you know, blinged out inside and all new components and, you know, RGB LEDs and water cooling and and all this other crazy stuff. And I'm a bit of a contrarian, so I'm making a case that's an old case that has a blinged out outside and the inside looks kind of stock. So just to be different. The idea is basically when you open up the box, it looks like you're just peering back into the old ages. The hardware won't be that old, but the look is going to be. So let me show you around what we've got. And I'll just warn you, you're going to see stuff that I'm going to have coming up in videos. If I can figure out how to piece all this together, I'm still working on getting a calendar kind of thing set up to make sense of what's going on. This is kind of just off the wall to me. So let's start looking at what we got. Let's look at the interior. So over here, we've got the interior. It's already been done. Basically, we had to make a new motherboard tray, some brackets to hold our SFX power supply, and a bracket to get it back to our I/O panel, since the original board had a extended I/O panel in it. And then, you know, cleared everything else out. I did use zinc coated steel for this panel because I wanted it to be something that would match. But the finish that was on this versus the case, they didn't match. So in order to get them to match, I sandblasted all the pieces. Didn't do the outside of the case because you're never going to see that. That goes underneath the exterior of it. But sandblasted it all to get the same finish. Got a nice dull gray to it. I may throw some paint on it. I may not. Still haven't decided that yet. Got a fan bracket made. This is going to have 5 80 mil fans running down this front here, which I am quite excited about because that just seems, it's overkill, the number, and totally not enough, the size. So it makes me laugh. Keeping the basic layout, so motherboard, regular mount graphics card. Like I say, I want you to open this thing up and be like, damn, I just stepped back in time. So that's the goal with that. And we can see some of the hardware that's going back into this thing. I'm going to use the power switch and everything else that was on it, and the door latch. It has a nice door latch on it. I'm not going to put a window into it because the door latch is so nice. But the case has been painted, and it's a magnificent orange that I love. And I think I'm going to strip this down. So this is a two-stage automotive paint, AMG Sunrise Beam, something like that. And man, it's a beautiful color. But I had to dig some stuff out of the paint when I was painting it, and there's some flaws in it. And I thought, well, you know, I can cover those with graphics, which I'm still doing graphics no matter what. But part of me is just like, yeah, but. And then some of the edges, I didn't get quite as good a coverage as I was hoping. It's not bad. Probably something nobody would ever notice, but I know it. So what I'm thinking of doing is stripping this back down, which there'll be a video over that. Or tell you what, comment below if you want to see a video of that. I'll probably make one anyway, but let me know that you want to see it. Strip this down, go back with airbrush paints or some Createx paints while looking for paint for another project on this project. I found out that there's a mixture that will give me almost the same orange. And what that'll do is not put me in such a time crunch to put like, man, this was primer, sealer, 4 coats of base, 4 coats of mid, 2 coats of clear. And going with Createx, I think I can do a layer of sealer, some sort of flaky paint, and then just candy over the top of it and get the same result. So I'm interested in trying it. This would be a good one. Like I say, since there's flaws in this paint job already, be a good one where I can take it apart, get it perfect the way I want it, and not have to worry about it. But plus I get to play with paint, and I do enjoy playing with paint. Don't enjoy stripping it, but I like putting it down. So that's part of the exterior. And this is, you'll notice this is like a full top, bottom, and backside. So this kind of clamshells around the whole case. It's a really interesting way for things to go together. I do like it. Other parts of the outside. So we've got our handles and our doors, or handles for the case, handle for the door, a front grille. These are aluminum. Well, they're not aluminum. They're spray painted with aluminum paint to give them that nice silvery look, because chrome never turns out right. At least not that I have seen yet. So I went with that to give me the same similar look. Working on a video about these. These are pretty good. They've got to have a little bit of work done. They're a little rough. I don't know. A little rough kind of makes them feel a little like metal. So maybe that's not a bad thing. Gives them some texture, some tactile feel. I don't know. We'll think about that. So that's going on. Got some hardware. This is using some old hardware out of a case that, a mod that I've done before. So it's a 9600K 1070 SFX 700 watt power supply. I'm using a little baby 92 millimeter cooler for the CPU because I used it in another one. And man, it's perfect. You can toss an extra fan onto it. It's got plenty of cooling for what I'm going to do. This is going to be a land rig, so I'm not worried about any of this getting crazy heavy use or getting really hot. So should work fine. We'll see how that goes. That is What the Dell, the current stage of What the Dell. Pieces, paint, all that jazz. Hopefully we will be, maybe even after me talking to you right now, showing a little bit of the airbrushing process. And then, yeah, we'll just start covering maybe some other stuff like stripping the painting that thing again. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. We'll see how bad the videos go, and that'll determine what you all get to see. So that's it for this time around. And like I say, if you want to see me strip some paint, leave me notes down in the comments. Today we are here to paint things. And what are we painting? The detail stuff. So these are our handles for the case, the door handle, the power switch, and the grill. What we need to do is clean these up, get some scratch on them, get some paint on them. So let's go ahead and get into that. So we're going to start off by taking apart our handles and our switch and all that. And then we're going to sand all this stuff with a red Scotch-Brite pad as I knock everything over. Red Scotch-Brite pad. That'll give us a nice tooth to all this. Some of the tighter spots we may take a wire brush to try to get into, but I'm not going to show you that because it's boring to watch, and also I want to listen to music. So this is now sanded. All right, so we've got everything sanded. Right now I am mixing up the sealer that we're going to be putting down, a couple of coats. I'm going to have to put this through my detail gun just because it's so thick. So we'll get this all stirred up and mixed up right, and then we'll spray these a couple of coats, switch over to an airbrush, put down some aluminum on top of that, and we should have these painted up. So it's been 30 minutes since we got our sealer down. That's what they call for before you start putting layers on top of it. So this stuff is nice and dry. I did have a bit of a learning curve of getting it down right, but I got back in the groove. It turned out nice. Now what I've done is flipped all these over. I'm going to spray the backs first, and that way when I flip them over to do the fronts. If the back decides it wants to stick to this cardboard or something, it can. I'm not going to see it. It won't bother me if there's a little oddball thing back here or anything. But that way, at least the parts I see, perfect, exactly how I want them. But yeah, we'll get the aluminum mixed up in the airbrush and start laying some coats down. All right, so we got everything painted, and I think it came out pretty well. We'll get that flipped around. It's nice and, I mean, it's silver, so, and everything went pretty well. It's got a little bit of a rough texture to it, and that's because I was spraying it really far back dry. But I was trying to get a good flake coverage, and especially on this part, trying to get everything covered in those little holes. But for the most part, everything came out the way I wanted. So there you go. First video back. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Still trying to work out some bugs. I know the audio, apparently I totally set that up wrong. And the camera is now making me learn how to use it. It's kind of trying to take over. I think it's dating the Roomba. But that's neither here nor there. No, hopefully you enjoyed it. There's some audio things. I've got them worked out. So hopefully going from here, there might be a couple spots where it still pops up. Still trying to figure out that balance between the way too dry tutorial versus the zero information, just doing things. Give you that gray, you know, that middle zone where it's entertaining but not boring to death. And yeah, beyond that, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. So I guess until I see you all next time, get out there and mod something.